and endless skies. Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained I thrive, I thrive.
So thank you so much for joining us here on Nomads 50 Plus. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and I'm coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California at the moment. And today we have a very special guest. It's a name everyone on Substack has probably heard many, many times because you're everywhere and everyone subscribed to you. And my mission is really to interview 1,000 digital nomads or people who are going through midlife and recalibrating. But Orel doesn't fit any of those categories. So this is completely out of the box. But what you have done, which a lot of my listeners are interested in doing, is build a location-independent business because they want to get away from their 9 to 5. They want to get out there and travel or do their own thing. And a lot of them want to or need to or are interested in building location-independent businesses, which is what you've done. Now, I don't think you built it from the ground up to be location-independent specifically, like you didn't want to specifically travel, but you built a business that had that capability. So let's introduce yourself and jump in.
Yeah, all right. So thank you, first of all. My name is Orel, and I'm the founder of WriteStack. I'm a solopreneur for almost 2.5 years now. I think exactly 2.5 years now. I quit my job in 2023. And yeah, I just wanted to be decision-free and be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want. And I knew that if I'll stay in my 9 to 5, although it paid quite well, it wouldn't help me get there. So yeah, I quit my job. I built more than 12 products that I tried to sell. None of them worked. And then I started working on WriteStack. And WriteStack is the first product to ever make me any money after 600 days of failing. And that's where right now WriteStack is at a little over 9,000 monthly recurring revenue. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. And thank you for having me, man.
Yes, nice. Well, I remember when we talked last time on Think Future that you were mentioning that you had 12, was it 12 startups before this or 11 startups before this?
12.
So in those 12 startups, you said that actually those startups would have been okay had you just applied yourself. So what exactly happened there? I mean, you started the startup and then you lost interest, or what was it about it that made it not succeed?
I'm not blaming anyone when I'm going to say what I'm going to say, but it was my fault. Obviously, I chose to follow whoever I followed, but I followed the advice of ship fast and kill faster. That means that you need to put out as many products as you can, as fast as you can, and if the product that you put out doesn't get any traction, then it's not worth it. People are not interested. You need to move on to the next idea. And that is true for people with big audience, because then they can put out the idea, put out the MVP that they created, first version, and then see if people like it and stick with it or not. For small-time creators who don't have a big audience, we need to spend a lot of time getting people to even try the product and give us feedback through direct messages and putting out content and trying to get to people through comments and stuff like that, however we can, just to figure out if the idea is interesting at all. And a funny story about WriteStack is that it didn't start as WriteStack at all. It started as something completely different, but through feedback, I pivoted and changed the product completely into something that people use. So all right. So I'll get back to what failed with all the other products. Is, like you said, the ideas were good, but I didn't spend enough time, enough focus on each one of them to make them succeed like I did with WriteStack.
So when you say that you didn't spend enough time on them, how much time do you spend? See, that's the big problem with entrepreneurs. And you start a business, you come up with an idea, you test the market, and you put it out there, and then how do you know whether it's going to be successful? I mean, how much time do you wait to determine whether or not? Because I've heard various things. People are like, oh, you've got to put it out and leave it run it for 4 years, 2 years, 1 year, 3 months. I know one guy who a few months, a few weeks into putting it out there, said, well, this is BS. It's not going to work. I'm going to shut it down. So how do you know how long to work at something before you realize it's going to fly or it's not going to fly?
So, like I said, it's really hard when you don't have a big audience, because you have nothing to compare it to. Like when you put out a lot of products and you do with time and you build your audience, you know how to know what works and what doesn't. If for the previous product that worked, 100 people signed up and right now 50 or whatever, something like that, it's easier. But for people who don't have a big audience, you just need to put out at least I'd say 3 to 4 months for the product, to send direct messages, to pivot, to improve, to change things, just to even if not to make money, to learn. Because I learned in the first 3 to 4 months of WriteStack, even in the first 2.5 months before I put up the paywall, I learned way more than I ever did in the past 600 days. So in 60 days, I learned way more than in 600 days because I focused on one product. So even if not for making money, just to learn and improve. Yeah.
So in those other products, how long did you work on those before you decided to pull the plug?
So the thing, it was before AI, most of them. So it took me like 2 weeks to build a product, any product. And so let's say that after I built it, I'd spend probably 2 to 3 weeks and just give it up. And in those 2 to 3 weeks, sorry, I didn't do a lot of things. I just added more features, improved the UI. Oh, I really hate that the camera refocuses and moves. It's so annoying. I need to center myself.
That's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, no, that's a bad feature. Hey, Claudia, how are you doing? Yeah. So, anyways,
It's so dramatic.
question?
I love that.
No,
When you pause.
Yeah, I tried to remember the question.
When you were going through these other businesses, you said you were working on it for a couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
And then what happened?
So, what I did for these in these 3 weeks after I finished the MVP, the first version, is I just added more features. I tried to write about it online like once or twice, and I assumed that people don't sign up, so it's not worth it. But all I did was code and write about it a few times, like 2, 3 tops. Thank you, Claudia. How are you doing?
So all you did was, so you basically didn't market it at all. You took the business
No,
and you
nothing.
built the business, or you built the idea, and then you put it out there, and you thought people would just show up, right? So people and nobody showed up,
Exactly.
and that's because you didn't see. And that's the key. I think we were talking about this before. Is that if you don't have an audience, how do you build that audience, right? You have to build some kind of an audience in order to put something in front of them. And I think we're in a stage right now where you actually need to build the audience before you build the business, right? Because if you don't build the audience first, then how are you going to have someone to give the business or show the business to, so that you can get feedback? So I mean,
Exactly.
we were previously in a state, and I think a lot of people are still transitioning through that. It's like, I'll come up with the idea, I'll build the idea, I'll get the idea out there, then I'll market the idea. And it's really the opposite now. It's like, I'll market the idea or the concept, or I'll pull together an audience of individuals who might be interested in this thing. And then once I've pulled this group of people together, I can poll them and see what's their biggest pain point. And then you build your business after you've built the audience and after you get the pain points from the business. Is that how you built WriteStack, or was it different?
So the way that I built WriteStack is, like I said, I built the idea and then I just manually found the feedback. I almost forced it out of people. I tried to do everything that I can to get people to give me feedback. I sent hundreds, if not thousands, of direct messages to people. And then people who ghosted me, I would just send them a follow-up, one after the other, until some of them blocked me. Some just didn't reply for like
You're
5 or 6
persistent, man. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I sent them memes. Memes also work really, really well. Like this Kevin Hart meme that says that has that face. Really works well. I just send it to them, and then I edit it and say the name of whoever. Orel, are you there? And then that Kevin Hart meme. It's good. It works. Or something like Pablo Escobar memes that he waits for a long time. Something like that. Something funny, and I try to follow up. And like I said, I almost forced people to give me feedback, and people who replied to me were on my hook. And like, I didn't spam them. I was nice, and I respected what they were saying. But like, they said, yeah, I will try it. Cool. So I followed up again, and then if they didn't reply, then I would follow up on them even more than the ones who didn't reply. So yeah, I was very persistent with that. Um, I'll just go over the two comments. Great confirmation. Thanks. The bees I thought people wanted was not accurate. My hobby is actually what they wanted.
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. It's like the biz you thought the people didn't wanted was not accurate. The hobby is actually what they wanted. So it sounds like what was it Lou created a business, but it wasn't exactly what they were interested in doing. So why not turn the hobby into the business? Right, but that's not what you did with WriteStack, right? I mean, you were looking around for businesses to start, right? And
Yeah.
then because you were active on Substack, that's what made you think, well, what if I build this tool for WriteStack? Was it solving a problem that you had yourself? Is that
Yeah.
the impetus
Yeah.
for it?
So in the beginning, WriteStack was not WriteStack. It was I called it Articles Generate. I think I still have the URL. I'm not sure, but my issue was coming up with ideas for articles, and so I tried to build something really sophisticated that learned how you write, what you write about, and then get inspirations from things that are relevant to your niche, and then generate ideas and outlines for you so you can write your article. Um, so that's what I built in the beginning, and that was the MVP, the first version. And people didn't like it. I mean, they liked the app, but they didn't use it. They didn't find any
Mm,
use for it. Most people told me, "Hey, cool idea, but my problem is not coming up with ideas. It's writing the ideas. I don't have the time to do that." And
mm,
then one of the users told me, "Hey, I don't have an issue with writing articles, but I have a big problem with staying consistent with notes." And then I realized that that's what I need to focus on, because that's what all the other products in the space, like Tweet Hunter, Taplio, Hype Theory, whatever Super X that out there, and that's what they do. They focus on short-term content,
mm.
short form content, not long form. So yeah, that's when I realized that I have to pivot and focus on notes, and then things started rolling from there. And yeah, I sent a lot of messages to big creators, very big creators. Some of them replied. Big one is Tim Denning. He replied and he was interested, and he used it and he uses it until today. And also Philip from Right Build Scale also replied, and we're friends to this day, and we collaborate, and we have a lot of things that we do together. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, that's one of the things I find really interesting about Substack is that you can connect directly with big creators and they'll get back to
Hmm.
you, right?
Yeah.
It's very unlike any other platform in that way, because some of the big creators elsewhere, they'll never talk to you at all. And here it seems to be easy to reach out to people and they will respond to you, and you can get feedback. So it's actually a really good place to get feedback for your product, right?
Yeah, and it's much better on Substack, because let's say on Twitter you'll get the message to your spam folder. I mean the request folder, but so many people just spam you with a lot of crap, with automating tools that auto DM you, and then you end up having a huge pile of spam messages in your requests. And reaching out to big creators who have thousands of these is hard.
Now, I want to go back to something you said earlier about AI. Is that the previous businesses that you did, the 13, or sorry, I get the number
12.
wrong, 12 businesses that you did prior to WriteStack. You didn't have AI for those, or were you starting to use AI for some of those?
So for the last few, I used GitHub Copilot, and the only thing that it did was to complete your code. It didn't write almost anything for you, and if you'd ask it to write, it would write crap code. So a little bit AI, but like probably 8 to 9 of them were completely written by me manually.
Interesting. So WriteStack was the first app that you used that actually integrated the AI right into the work, because you said your original thought was
Yeah,
like your first WriteStack thought was, well, let's get the thing to write articles for me, right? That was
yeah.
the initial concept, and so that's where the first time you think there's any correlation between using AI in your product and how it took off?
No, not at all.
No, it has
If
nothing to do with it.
something, AI made me more feature creep. Like I want to add more and more and more and more features, even though um, I need to focus on other things like marketing. So yeah, I don't think AI made any difference. It made things be built faster, but it didn't build the audience faster.
So if you think you strip, so the main thing, so the main feature of WriteStack in your mind is the scheduling piece. Is that it, or is it the AI writing piece, or is
It
it
used to be
what is it?
all right.
Yeah.
So it used to be the scheduling before Substack had it, but right now I think the main feature. Okay, so the first and main feature will always be the scheduling, because although Substack do have native scheduling, if you want to schedule more than 10 or 20 notes a week, it's going to take you 30 to 1 hour to set it up correctly, to organize it, and to make sure everything is okay. While on Substack, it will take, on WriteStack, it will take you 4 seconds to do that.
Mm.
So it saves you a lot of time. And then that's the main feature. And then the second one is the statistics that you have. You can see what works at what time, and then repurpose and reuse the content. So yeah, and to make it even easier, I created an evergreen feature that you can just put it on repeat. So every 4 weeks, post that note. And
I love
then,
that. I love that feature, by the way. I
yeah,
haven't
it's
used it
good.
yet. I haven't used it yet, but I'm thinking to myself that I'm going to use that a lot, because if you think about it, I mean, a lot of people go, "Well, I don't want to repeat myself," but you're always getting new followers. You're always getting new subscribers. Those people have not. Yeah,
Content. And those
yeah.
people who did and liked it, they'll like it again probably, or just ignore it, and then that's fine. You're not aiming to show it to them again. Maybe you do, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. So actually, let's talk about the scheduling thing, because I think that was a big hit. Because this happens sometimes. You start a business, you're dependent on a specific feature that you're missing, especially when you have a business like this where you're sort of latched onto the ecosystem. I mean, you're part of the Substack ecosystem, right?
Mhm.
You're part of that ecosystem, and then when that ecosystem changes, it could radically, harm your business or even destroy it. So in this case, scheduling, which was a big piece of what you were doing, suddenly just disappeared. Suddenly Substack said, we're going to do that instead. So what
Yeah.
happened? Like when you first heard that, tell me about what happened, how you felt, and what you did.
All right. So the first time that I saw it was completely random, because what I usually do every few days is I go to Substack, I hit the search, and I write WriteStack, and to see who talked about it and what they said, and restack some things. And then the second thing that I used to do, is search schedule notes or note scheduling to find people who asked for that feature, and then reply to their note and send them direct messages, and to anybody who replied to them saying, yeah, I wish they had it, or something like that, just to find more
So this is
potential
your
users.
proactive prospecting. What you're doing here
Yeah,
is like you're looking for
yeah,
people who are interested in scheduling. Gotcha.
exactly. And then what I saw is somebody put out a note, and it's not the first time that I see somebody lies about having a scheduler, but it shows an image and how to do it. And I thought to myself, okay, I'll just check it. I have nothing to lose. And then I saw the calendar icon, and I thought to myself, fuck, they added it. And on the one hand, I'm very happy. On the other hand,
That is the perfect first thought. That's
yeah,
exactly the first thought you would have.
yeah. Yeah, honestly, because what I thought is a lot of people are going to churn now, because I think between December and March, 30% of all the traffic that I had came from Google, people who were searching Substack note schedulers, scheduled Substack notes, anything like that, and I ranked number one for that. So a lot of people came from Google. So I thought to myself, first of all, that traffic is not going to. I'm not going to have that traffic anymore. And second, a lot of people are going to leave because a lot of people joined for the scheduler feature.
Mm.
And so that's exactly what happened until up until I think 3 days ago. WriteStack subscriber count was plateaued. Like I think it was between 349 and 352 for 2 or 3 weeks. It didn't move. From almost 390, it just dropped down a lot, like 25 unsubscribers in the first day. And so I knew that WriteStack is going to take a hit after that. But I also thought that if I'll implement it fast enough and integrate a new scheduler, people won't have to leave their computer running anymore. Because before that scheduler, if you wanted to schedule notes, you'd have to schedule them and leave your computer running for WriteStack
Yeah.
to send your notes.
That was a huge pain in the ass. I'm glad that
I
we
know.
don't have to do that anymore.
I know, right? And then, so I thought, yeah, on the one hand, WriteStack is going to take a hit, but on the other hand, the product is going to be a bit more healthy because people are not going to join only for that hack that I did to help them schedule notes. People will come for the actual helpful features that will help them grow. And yeah, so that's what I had these two thoughts, and I just sat down for 7 days, even though I was on a vacation. I sat down for 7 days, and for most of the time, I integrated the new Substack scheduler into WriteStack. And yeah, when I finished, I was so happy that I'm done with it, and I can go back to my vacation. So yeah.
See, that's something that happens. So you're on vacation, and then all of a sudden, bam, this happens, and you've
Yeah.
got to basically spend time working on this. So a lot of people would be like, "Well, this is really inconvenient that I'm on vacation, and this is happening." You could have just left your customers to spin, but you went ahead and sat down and started working on it to solve this hit that you had. It's like, what do you think about that? Like, I mean, were you in this? I mean, didn't it bug you that you wanted to spend time on your vacation and yet now you had to do this instead?
Of course it did. I hated it. I mean, it's the first real vacation that I took in over 2 years, because
Mm,
every other vacation that I took, I was always busy with thinking about what other product will I build, what will I do. I kept writing. I mean, I really take a real vacation. And this was the first one that I felt real good about. And then suddenly this hits. And so it sucked, really.
mm,
But I knew that I have to do that, and I integrated it, and I was communicating it to WriteStack users. I sent like 2 or 3 emails every day, telling them what's the state of the development, and I wrote notes about it, and I shared what I'm doing. So I tried to be as transparent as I can about it as well. So yeah, it was awful, but it had to be done.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, I think what people don't understand is that when you become an entrepreneur, especially if you're a solopreneur, like when these things happen, you got to step up, right? I mean, this is like from the people I know, Orel, you're like the only one who's you're the most dedicated, the strongest, and your response time is insane. I love it that you can get back to everybody, and I think you're like the if I had to, so I have a model solopreneur to point to, it would be somebody like you, because you know exactly how to work this thing. And it's like, were you always like this, or did you just sort of work your way into it?
I don't know. I didn't have any users before, so I can't tell you how I was before. But
But you were
yeah.
responsive, like with those other 12 startups that you tried. I mean, you were
So
responsive to users and stuff, right?
so my goal was always to be, whatever I do is to be the most premium feature, the most premium product, to charge higher than anybody else, but also to provide as much value as I can. And I know that people really love the fact that I'm super available, that I help whoever needs my help, and I'm available to help even beyond WriteStack. Not only about that, a lot of people talk to me about strategies that they have, how can they improve, what can they do to get more subscribers, and I'm happily joining calls with them and trying to help them as much as I can. And I think people really appreciate the fact that I'm helpful and I'm there, and I'm not a founder that's just build a product and lets it be.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you're not. This is your thing for the next little while. I mean, you don't have an exit strategy in mind, because a lot of founders are like, okay, I'm going to build this thing. I'm going to get it to a certain MRR, and then boom, I'm going to sell it and get out of it.
mhm.
I think that's not it. I mean, you're weaved into this thing. You're in this
Yeah,
for you're in this all the way to
yeah,
the end.
definitely, yeah, yeah. And I have a lot of big collaborations coming up that can really help WriteStack grow much faster and make a lot more support tickets for me, probably. So
So I think we talked about this last time on Think Future, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the problem with being on top of an ecosystem like you are with Substack. I mean, this happens to Twitter. This happens to all of these other services that sort of sit on top of something. And whenever, because is this your foundation, right? I
yeah.
mean, you work with this foundation, and if Substack decides to, it's kind of like if the god decides to burp or whatever, it could cause all sorts of problems for you. And I mean, are you like concerned about those types of things? I remember last time you were saying you tried to connect with Substack folks and try to get an idea of what they're trying to do next. So, I mean, are you concerned that something's going to happen, that they're going to make some kind of change that will really seriously be a detriment to your
So
business?
in the beginning, that was my biggest fear. That's why I didn't market it as hard as I do now, because I thought that Substack can just break it anytime they want, and they can. But the more I think about it, the more I understand that they don't have any reason to do that, because I don't do anything that ruins the platform's experience. Like, I will not implement auto DMs for marketing and stuff like that. I will not implement AI replies, which really suck. I hate them. And it could, honestly, these two things can get me a lot of customers. A lot of people
Mm,
talk to me and ask for, they want to have auto DMs to people. They'll have a list, and then
no,
it
don't
will
do that.
automatically
Don't do
send.
that.
No, and I told them no. The furthest that I will go is to send a hi message to new subscribers. I think that's nice. That's
Hmm.
friendly. So maybe that. But like, I could get so many customers just from that. But I just said no. Anything that I think might ruin the experience on the platform, I will not implement. Um, and so that's number one. Number two, I get people to engage more with Substack, to write more notes, better notes, to reply to comments of their readers and people who reply to them. And so I just help make more engagement
Mm,
overall on the platform. So I don't think I'm disturbing anything. I saw that a product that I will not name, but of a big creator who uh, showed that they're against AI comments and crap like that, implemented AI replies into their feature and added it to the Substack UI. I'm not sure if you saw that. I think Sam Illingworth talked about it, and he showed that they have a button when you press to reply to somebody. It shows you a ugly orange button that says AI replies, and then you get a list of all the type of replies that you can
oh,
have.
geez. No,
That's
no.
a Yeah, and it's a bestseller product. All right,
Wow.
it's a product from a bestseller who's really pushing Substack growth, and I was surprised to see that. But whatever. Yeah, I will not go there. I will not do that. And yeah.
Well, what about the pushback against AI in general? Because I see that we're starting to see. I mean, this goes on forever. Whenever there's a new technology, there's always people who push back on it, right? And a lot of, I mean, from my perspective, what you do, the pieces that I think are really important are the analytics that tell you when the best time to post notes are, the
Mhm.
scheduling piece, and the AI to allow you to write the best notes is, I think, the most powerful thing, if you ask me,
Mhm.
because a lot of times you write notes and nothing flies, right? And other times you write notes and they do fly. And having those analytics to determine which notes are better than others, or which notes will more likely to fly than others, I think is really, really key. But then you've got people on the other side who are AI detractors that say, I don't want to write AI notes. I don't want notes to be AI at all. and there's pushback on AI. I mean, have you felt any of that pushback?
Yeah, in the beginning, I got a lot of pushback about the AI. Um, I don't remember the name of the guy, but somebody wrote an ugly post about me and WriteStack, and he said something along the lines like that. That's what's wrong with AI, and these people ruined the platform, and that I suck and stuff like that. And people restack that and tag the founders of Substack, and really, really a lot of hate from big
Mm.
creators as well. And then I felt really bad about it. I thought maybe I'm doing something wrong. But then I thought, I don't care. I'll be blunt. I'll be blunt. I don't give a fuck. A lot of people will hate. People will hate no matter
Yeah.
what. Somebody wrote me a huge message in the DM saying that I ruin it for real writers who write from their soul with their hands and not AI. Whatever. If your writing sucks so much that AI writes better than you, then that's on you. That's not on me. I mean, if I write bad with AI, people won't read it and it won't get any engagement, and that's on me. But if you write something yourself and people are not interested, then I mean, it's also on you. But like, whatever.
We see that's the thing that I find really interesting is that you've got people who push back on AI and how is their writing any better? Right?
Yeah.
How's their writing any better than anything else? And I find that it's really helpful in the editing phase and even in the creation. It's like some of the and I think we mentioned this before, is that some of the notes that that WriteStack has generated do way better than some of the notes I have written. And I'm thinking to myself, is there some reason like the algorithm likes those better because they're
It's
generated by AI?
people like it.
Mm.
People, and honestly, I'll tell you something. I started a new series where I share some statistics. I have a database of millions of notes, tens of millions, and then I use Claude to access the database, read, aggregate some data, and then generate an article about that. And I don't do anything. All I do is I make sure that everything looks fine, and I post it to Substack. I just started, and it got a lot of traction. Like for a very, very small newsletter, like 200 subscribers, it got 30 something likes and 20 new subscribers and a lot of restacks. And what I understood is if you provide value, even if it's written in AI language, it doesn't matter. People
Yes.
need this information. If you give value, then they don't care if you write it like Shakespeare, or even though Shakespeare and AI and Claude probably write the same. But if you write like, I don't know, some guy who doesn't know how to write, or AI or whatever, as long as you provide the value and it's interesting, whatever.
No, I agree with that 100%. Is like if this thing provides value, it doesn't matter how it was generated, right? Or even if it touches your emotions. If you can have AI write a story that can touch your emotions like a regular writer would, then why not? I mean, I think it's like these people who are like really seriously anti-AI. And actually, I was thinking about the haters concept, as you were saying, is that I think a lot of people really don't like having haters. Like they're really people pleasers. They're like, okay, I really want no haters on this platform. And the thing is that if you've got haters, I think you're doing something right, because you're touching a chord. You're doing something that's pissing some people off, which means you're having an effect. You're doing something. I think you're doing something slightly out of the box that bothers them. And if they show themselves, then that's actually more validation that what you're doing is completely right, and you should just keep going down the road. So your attitude is perfect.
And I love them. Keep them coming. The more haters I have, the happier I am, because first of all, it's free traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps SEO. That's the first thing. Second, I got a few paid subscribers from haters, right? One of them, it was very funny. One of them said in the comments, hey guys, I'm just going to see what's inside, and I'll share with you all the atrocities or whatever he said that are inside WriteStack. And then he ended up paying for the subscription for 8 months until he canceled it, probably because he forgot about it or something. And I was like, thanks, man.
Was he using it? Maybe he was using it.
Not at all. Not at all. He used it for like a week. He generated notes with it. Funny thing, he generated notes with it, even though he was part of the haters. and I never revealed his name. And he generated notes for like a week or two, and then just stopped using WriteStack altogether and kept paying for like 8 months.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you have to take that with that attitude, that like that, because what else are you going to do, right? You just have to
Right.
say, I'm done with them. You can't just continually change things because a few people don't like what you're doing. You still
Yeah.
have the vision that you want to do. So speaking of the vision, where do you see it going next? I know you've made a lot of changes recently and you've added a lot of features. I mean, are those coming from users, or are these things that you put in yourself?
So I think the last feature that I added, first of all, the evergreen, yeah, a lot of people asked me for it, but I also changed the editor. Did you see that?
Yes. Yeah. Very
Yes.
different. Very different.
Yeah. So I'm integrating with Buffer, and I saw their editor, and it was big and spacious and had a lot of place to put in new things and features, and it was just way easier to use than the small one that I just copied from Substack and pushed a lot of small icons and things to make it look good and still have a lot of features. Anyways, so that thing, nobody asked for it, but I just felt like I was annoyed with the small version. And with the bigger one, I have more place to show everybody. For example, you probably saw the little bubbles at the bottom that help you improve the text that you wrote with AI. Before that, it was a small icon at the bottom among the other buttons. Right now, it's right there, and more people use it.
No, I love the changes that you've made, and I think they're really cool. And I think everybody should use it. I'm surprised that more people aren't using it. But I think that the biggest pushback is probably I've read a couple of people who actually say, "Well, this note has not been scheduled." It's like, what's wrong with scheduling notes? I mean, I don't see how that would be a problem for people. But I guess some people have problems with notes being scheduled.
The biggest pushback that I have for people who unsubscribe or don't want to subscribe is the price. And I'm fine with that. I'm okay with being expensive. I don't want everybody on the platform. I want the right people to use the platform.
So that actually is very interesting that you mentioned that, because I wanted to talk about the whole revenue piece, which is what you read from a lot of gurus out there who are like, "Oh, I made this much MRR, this much MRR, it's this much MRR," but they only talk about revenues, right? Which is great. You talk about revenues, and that's fantastic. But in the end, you have to think about your costs too. And like you've got so much AI going on with WriteStack. I mean, doesn't that cost you a lot of money to maintain that? Doesn't that take a chunk of your income?
That's not the thing that takes the most. It's not the highest paid service that I use. It's like $100 per month, something like that.
Reasonable.
But
And that
yeah,
runs all of the AI for WriteStack?
everything.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah. And I think the highest paid service is probably AWS, Amazon Web Service, I think.
Yeah.
I run most of my infrastructure on Amazon, and it costs me like $240, something like that a month. Yeah.
So your expenses are not that high then. So you're like $500 a
No,
month or something like that.
I think they're quite high, like $1,000 per month, something like that. Because I have a lot more things that I use, like the chat, the support costs $100 a month. The affiliate another $100. I started using something called Outrank to generate SEO articles for me every day, and then I integrated it with WriteStack, and then it generates the article, pushes it to WriteStack, and then it's automatically on my blog every day, and another $100 per month. What else do I have here that's expensive? The Kit, $60. I mean, all these things. MongoDB, another database that I use, is close to $200 per month. So quite a lot.
So but still, you're like, it's $1,000 a month is nothing compared to where your MRR is. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. The affiliates cost another, probably on average, $800 a month. Yeah.
So that's not so bad. And then, so speaking of SEO, like, did you do all your own SEO? Did you learn SEO, or did you bring somebody in to do the SEO for you?
I never did anything with SEO.
Nothing
I
at
never
all.
even no, I didn't even plan for that. Just because I wrote in the hero section, schedule a month of Substack notes in minutes, something like that. That was the header. Google ranked it, and a lot of people um, wrote about WriteStack and signed up compared to all the other solutions that are out there. So I slowly ranked to the first position.
So you didn't have to do any SEO whatsoever. Wow,
No,
that's pretty cool.
yeah, I just started with SEO. Like I integrated Outrank yesterday,
So I
and
know
honestly, I'm
somebody.
sorry I didn't do it from day one. Honestly,
Well, what does Outrank do for you?
so like I said, it generates an article every day, and a very good SEO article that's about RightStack, competitors and stuff like. That's a lot of analysis for me. Write the article, pushes it to RightStack, and then I automatically add it to the blog of RightStack.
So have you ever thought of making your? You have, like you said, you have a database of what, 10 million notes or something like that. So a really
15.
huge 15 million notes. That is super powerful when it comes to
Mhm.
analytics. Have you ever thought of making that open to for queries? So if some people want to come in and say, "Hey,
Yeah, you
I want to,
can.
so I can, if I can make, can I make queries against this? So I can say what's hot today and stuff like that, or what?
That's that's a good idea to add to the MCP of
Yeah,
RightStack.
yeah.
Because right now, if you're on the highest tier, you can search through the notes and filter it by likes, comments, whatever you want. But maybe adding it to the MCP can also be very, very good. Good idea.
Oh, thanks. No, I was just thinking because you have so many insights in there on what makes a good note and what notes fly, because that's,
so
I think that's key.
So what I did is I added to WriteStack. I'm not sure if you saw that. I added the templates. When you open the editor,
Hmm.
there is templates at the top right. And then Claude generated these 50 templates from best performing notes that are not news, sports, and other things like that. And he generated these templates. So what you can do, you can choose a template, ask AI to generate a note, or just write it yourself, and yeah, that's how I used the data for RightStack.
So, if you, looking into the data, what do you think is the number one thing that will make a note go viral? Like, is there a specific? Is there a template? Is there is there a particular thing that actually
It's
will make it go?
yeah, it's a
Because
bit
everybody's
complicated
looking for
because
that holy grail. I want to write a viral note, right?
yeah, the thing about it is you can write the exact same note at different times, and one time it will go viral, the other time it won't. So,
Yeah.
for example, I had it on Twitter. I wrote a note, a tweet about something like I showed that a few big products like Facebook and Discord and GitHub and stuff like that have a lot of issues open. And so I wrote something like, if these big products still have bugs, it's okay that your product also has bugs.
Mm,
Something like that. And I wrote it like 2 or 3 times, and the third time that I wrote it, it went explosive, like millions of impressions, a lot of likes, a lot of restacks. It was crazy.
right.
So the same note that can work today might not work tomorrow, and vice versa.
Right. So it really depends on. So
But
your database.
generally, people in Substack really like vulnerability and
Mm,
like showing them that what they feel is okay. Yeah.
so we have a couple quick questions. So somebody asked this question about 2 newsletters in the chat, and I had that. I actually asked this question to you before because I do have 2 newsletters in my account, and I'd want to be able to create different notes for different kinds of newsletters. Will you
Funny
ever support
story.
that?
Also, Claudia, the one that was here before, asked me about that like
Yeah.
an hour ago or something.
Is
So
there a
that's a
reason why
bit.
you can't support that, or is that?
So the question is why? Okay, why do you need that? I mean, so okay, that's good. So the first thing, I get a lot of feature requests, and then the first thing that I ask the people, the person who asked me is, why do you need it?
Mm.
right? I just need to understand that they really need it, and it's not just a small pain that they randomly have, and they just want it fixed, right? And then I'll ask, why do you need it? So I'll ask you, why do you need it?
My 2 newsletters are completely different. So I have one newsletter that's targeted to Nomads 50 Plus, and I have another newsletter that's targeted to AI and futurism. So they're completely different newsletters with completely different topics. And I think a lot of other people do the same thing. They have create completely different newsletters with completely different topics, and they want to be able to say, I want notes from newsletter 1, and I also want notes from newsletter 2. Or maybe you
So
can
you want to
combine.
generate notes about, okay.
Yes. So I want you to point, because this is what you do, right? Is that you point at a newsletter and you analyze the newsletter for notes to
Great
send,
idea. Easy to
right?
implement as well. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, let's do it,
Yeah.
man.
With the new editor, it's going to be even easier. Really. Really.
Yeah, because this is the problem that we have, is that Substack, the way Substack is created, and this is the thing that kind of annoys me about it, is that you can have, when you have 2 newsletters or multiple newsletters, whenever you post a note, the subscribe button only goes to your primary newsletter, right?
Yeah.
Not if you, so if I took a post from newsletter 2 and I posted it on my notes, and they'd still subscribe to my primary newsletter, not my, this is a Substack failure. It's not you, obviously. So
Yeah, maybe one cool thing that they could add is you have when you create a new note, you have anyone can reply, only subscribers, only paid subscribers. And then another cool thing that they can add is to which newsletter that this note belong.
right. It's like when you're doing it from a newsletter. So when I'm pointing at a newsletter, so I'm saying I take newsletter A and I want to write a note. I want WriteStack to write a note on this post promoting this post from newsletter B. I want you to add some kind of ways to drive people to newsletter B, not newsletter A, because it's not in Substack at all. So you can probably look at adding that.
If they'll ever add it, I will make it super simple on WriteStack, but right now it's not possible. But yeah, so anyway, going back to how I filtered the idea. So you gave me an idea, and a lot of people asked me for that before. So first, that's one thing that I think about. Did people ask for it before? And if yes, then I need to figure out how to make it work, and then I make it work.
Yeah, so you just keep working at it.
And if not, I put it in my list, and then one day if I have time or a lot of people ask for it, then I'll implement that.
Right. So, and then you don't stop, right? You don't take any breaks.
No. But it's hard.
And you're perfectly okay with that.
No, not at all. Not at all. You're welcome, Lou. I'm not okay. I mean, most days, if you'd see what I'm doing, I mean, I'm procrastinating so much. But that's the problem that I have. I feel and think that I need to work all day, when in fact it's better if I work less but do more. Because most days I spend on overthinking and feeling like I'm not doing enough, and then I get stressed, and then I think I need to do more, and then I do even less. But when I just give myself space to work a few hours and then just be okay with what I did, I get a lot more done. I wanted to implement the Outrank integration for a month now, but I just didn't do it. Yeah.
So that's the thing, is that when you do have this kind of business, you spend a lot of time on it. You have to spend a lot of time on it. Or do you? I mean, it sounds as if you've gotten to the point now where you don't have to spend all your time on it. I mean, you're not in the middle of the grind where you have to spend all your time on it, but you kind of do you want to? Or do you find yourself hard to pull yourself away?
I want to, but I have too many things that I want and can do that I just burn out sort of for the day before I started it. And then, yeah. So, and when I pick one thing that I'm going to do for the entire day, and I tell myself, all right, write an article this day, and if you finish, you're good for the day. Then I feel much better, and I do a lot more. I end up doing a lot more than just the article, but I feel good about it.
So it sounds like you have to kind of reduce the number of tasks that you have for yourself every day, because you're overloading yourself with what you're doing.
Exactly.
So what do you do to help time manage that? Because I think this is a problem a lot of solopreneurs have.
I suck at it. I suck at time management so bad, really. That this is the biggest problem I think that I have, and it's time management. I do, I tried so many things. I tried to hire a VA to help me, and I don't know what it is, but some people would call it ADHD. Um, whatever, I don't know. Um, yeah,
Well, you're still working on it though, I'm assuming, because you do want to spend time
yeah.
away from the business. I mean, this is not a
No.
passive. This is, and that's the other thing I think that a lot of people think that is that you can start one of these businesses, like build an app, start the business, fire it up, and then you can go away on vacation and be done. That is not how it
Hmm.
works. There's like
No.
that is not how any of these businesses work. You need to put work into it. That's really the only way.
Right. You need to listen to people, listen to feedback, help people in the support. That's the bare minimum that you have to do. Fix bugs as they come up. There are a lot of things that you need to do without even talking about improving the app itself, marketing it. Um, yeah, there's a lot to do. And the better I get at marketing, the more I understand that I have a lot to learn.
Mm.
Yeah.
So let's talk to everybody who's out there who's interested in starting a location independent business, because a lot of people want to do this. They want to get out of their 9 to 5. They want to do their own thing. What would you say would be the first thing that they need to do?
First of all, to build something and show it to the world. A lot of people are afraid to show it. They think it's not good enough. It's not solving a problem. People won't care. Some people don't have the self confidence to do that. So the first thing that you need to do is build something and be ready to show it to people, right? And you need to prepare for spending a lot of time getting it through the first obstacle, which is getting someone to pay for it.
Mm,
It's going to take you a lot of time, not because it's hard, but because you need to learn how to do it,
mm.
right? Now I know that even if WriteStack fails, you asked if the gods sneeze and they make WriteStack fall, then it will suck, but I'll move on to the next idea, and I know how to build a great product and how to make it work. Right now, I did it once, I can do it again.
So it's
So
interesting you should say that, because before we were talking about audience first, and now you're saying you should build the product first. So you should build the product first, or at least
yeah,
then
of course, yeah,
yeah,
you have to have something to show.
right.
At least unless you're willing to pay money for ads, or you have a big audience, and then you can get people to sign up before you build anything. But if that's not your case, then you need to build something small. And with AI, it's super simple. You can do anything
Mm,
you want in a few hours, build it, and then just show it to people. Why not spend? And it's fun. Honestly, it's fun to build something. So why
oh
not
yeah.
do this fun part, just so you have something to show?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily need to be that sophisticated, right? I mean, your first version of
Right.
WriteStack was, I'm
Was something.
assuming,
It was something completely different.
yeah.
And I thought back then that this was the killer idea and it's going to make millions. This was it. But turns out it was just as bad idea as any of my other bad ideas that I had. Um, but yeah, I just focused on making it work, and I made it work.
But the key piece
So
was getting the feedback, right? Because your
right,
initial idea. So first, build something, anything, and
yeah,
it has to be something that you're interested in, because you're going to be spending a lot of time doing it, right?
right.
Yeah.
Some people want to create offers, for example, and then build like a course through about it or stuff like that. Then you just need to build the offer.
Mm,
You don't have to build all the flow and what you're going to talk about and what you're going to share and when and how and slides, whatever. You first need to get people to accept your offer. Then
mm.
you can start building what's behind it, right? So it's different, but it's still the same because you need to build something first, which is the offer, which is extremely hard.
Yeah. Well, you didn't build an offer first. You built the tool, right?
Yeah, for me, it's not an offer like a Google Docs that tells you, "Hey, I'm going to teach you how to get to 10K per month. That's what I'm going to tell you. That's what you're going to learn, etc." For me, it's a tool. For other people, it's a course, a book, a mentorship, whatever, coaching.
But all of those things, see, that's the thing. It's interesting. None of that stuff is passive, right?
Not
You
at all.
build you
Not
build
at
your
all.
course, you build your offer, you build your book, you do your mentoring, whatever. All of these things require work. There's no such thing as passive income where you can just
Right.
set it and forget it and it'll just make money for you. Because
Unless you're investing in S&P or something like that in the
sure.
stock market, and you have a lot of money, and then it's passive. Even though I have my thoughts about that, but yeah.
No, but it's true. I mean, I was kind of hoping that WriteStack would do that for me. I would be like, I could just plug WriteStack in and say, okay, WriteStack, go ahead and build my giant subscriber base and create me paid subscribers and do it all for me without me having to do anything. How come it's not doing that yet, man? Look, can we add like an extra tier, like a super premium tier that does all that
Now
for
you
me?
make me self-confident about it, because I thought about Outrank, and that's exactly what they do. So I integrated it with WriteStack, and that's it. Now I don't do anything, and it keeps sending
Yeah,
articles,
see?
SEO or SEO. Yeah,
See, you should have like a ultra premium tier, which is like complete do it for me, and say I want you to take over my entire blog, or
the
I
issue
take over
is
my
you're
entire
building
newsletter and do
relationship
it.
with people, and I
I know.
can't build
I'm kidding.
relationships for you. Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was honestly thinking about how can I make it automate everything, but then I thought the
Yeah.
difference is with SEO, you're writing articles that random people can read, and they don't know about you, they don't care about you. But when you write about yourself, you share your stories, you share what you know, and you build a community, then you don't want robots to do it for you,
Oh
in
yeah.
my opinion, at least.
But I think there are services out there. I don't know if you've heard of them, but you can actually do that. You can just type in a business idea, and it will build the entire thing for you
That's
using
fine.
AI. So it's like
That's
I want to
fine.
sell socks. So I want to build a store that sells socks, and it'll build your entire store top to bottom, do SEO, do everything for you, and then all you have to do is turn it on, and that's it. And it's like you're never going to take BrightStack to that level of automation,
No, but
right?
when you have something like that, then you have probably thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of, or millions of these kinds of stores, and then you still need to make yourself unique. It
Mm,
doesn't matter that something automates it for you. It's like drop shipping. When not a lot of people knew about it, I bet a few people made millions from that. And then when a lot of people started knowing about it, it became harder to be good at it, because tens of thousands or hundreds of thousand people were looking for the same thing that you were looking in the drop shipping thing. So it was super hard for you.
mm.
Yeah.
So it's
So
the same with all of these businesses, right? I mean, if you build your business very like there's so much out there, there's so much noise, there's so much clamor for everything. It's almost hard. I mean, that is the most difficult thing now is to actually get your business out there. Building the thing is easy, right? You can go to
right,
AI and 5
right,
minutes later you have an app. It's like getting it out
right.
there and marketing it and pushing it to people. That's the tough part.
Yeah, that's what I wrote about it. That AI lowered the barrier of entry
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah, so
But
people can
I
build the
think,
business. Go ahead.
yeah, lowered the barrier of entry, but increased the barrier to success.
Mm,
Like, it's much harder to be successful now because the market is just flooded with products. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, you could build a product and then you could compete based on that product, because it took a lot of time to build something elaborated and useful. Nowadays, you do it in 2 hours.
yeah. Yeah. So the everything shifts to the marketing side. Get the
Yeah,
thing out the door. You need to become
distribution. Yeah,
you need to become the marketer and not the builder. The build it used to be like 90% build, 10% market. Now it's 10% build, 90% market.
yeah. Even less, because you don't build anything. You just tell AI what to do and it does it.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Yeah,
everyone's got to become a marketer. That's the way it is.
right.
So if you're trying to
You,
build a business, you need to
yeah, you need to have your audience, the people who trust you. Yeah, I mean, I have so much to say about the product, and some people that are not afraid, but don't want to build something that because somebody else built it already, or there's a lot of competition for that. So if I do it, then I won't be able to make it work. But it's nonsense. I mean, if you have a big competition, that means that the market is validated, You just need to find the right people for you, for your
That's right.
product.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, this has been great. I know we're up to our hour, so thank you so much. If someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Send me a message on Substack. I reply to everybody unless you're promoting something to me, which a lot of people do that I don't like, or you're just being rude. Then I just won't reply. But if you're nice and you just say hi, I'll hi you back.
Yeah, and like I said, Orel is the gold standard of solopreneurs. So if you can be even a little bit like Orel, then you'll be great.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having me. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, Al.
Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained, I thrive, I thrive. Oh, I thrive.